start today's discussion, but just looking back really fast on your past career paths, and tell us how you landed in the cleaning industry, specifically residential cleaning, and perhaps more importantly, why you stay. Sarah and Melanie, let's start with you.
Hi. Okay, we're unmuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so similar to Kristy's business, Kristy, we both come from a corporate background. I worked in the oil and gas industry actually as a business analyst, and Sarah was a customer service manager with TD Bank. So we've been best friends for over 30 years, and we always kind of we've toyed around with the idea of getting into business together because we have such a great relationship. So massive layoffs came with Irving Oil. So I got laid off. I was one of the lucky people that got laid off. And Sarah was out on maternity leave with her second daughter. And we just got brainstorming. We tried to think of a way, you know, what could we do like as a business together? We have this opportunity. So actually a girlfriend of mine who cleans houses, she only does it on a part-time basis. Her and I got talking one day and she said, you know, Mel, there's a real need for that around here. She goes, I think you should give it a shot and see. And Sarah and I both have OCD, so it kind of worked out. We love to clean and we find it very satisfying. So basically we said, you know what, let's give this a shot. And we started out doing the cleaning ourselves. And then it just grew. It just exploded. And now we have we just hired 2 new employees, 13 employees now. So
good for you.
Yeah. So I mean, both of us with the customer service experience and things like that and the business background, it just kind of worked for us. So
fantastic. Kelly and Kristy, I met you guys last year at the Las Vegas show in Vegas, and you know, you guys bring a chutzpah to the residential cleaning industry for sure. So, you know, what brought you here? I know, Kelly, you were involved heavily in the hospitality and hotel industry, and what brought you together to do this residential cleaning business?
I think I was at the Marriott for about 18 years. I started as a housekeeper and I worked my way up to the front desk as a front desk manager. And I think after my second child, I was done with working holidays. I was done working overnights. And I thought that let's just wing it. And I contacted a friend who was already doing cleaning. I'm like, hey, can I just test the waters before I leave benefits and a secure job? Yeah. And that's where I met Chris, and we just blossomed from there, and we just decided to just do this.
Yeah, and for me it was the same mutual friend. I had just been laid off from the corporate world and was trying to figure out, you know, where do I go from here? Because I absolutely hated it, just hated it. You know, it's one of those feelings like you just know you're meant to be doing something more. You need some food for your soul kind of thing. But I didn't know what that meant. And so this mutual friend said, you know, well, until you figure out what you're doing, why don't you come with me on a few days and, you know, at least keep yourself busy. And I was introduced to Kelly, and we absolutely fell in love with it.
Not with each other.
No, we actually didn't even in the beginning. No. Yeah, it was so funny. We weren't even a fan of each other, but
we needed a driver. I was the driver, yeah. And
I was taking transit with a buggy and my supplies, and then I was introduced to Kelly, and the woman's like, she has a car, and I'm like, okay, I'll drive with Lucifer. I don't care. You have a car. Let's go. But anyways, we just ended up clicking so well together, and then we didn't necessarily like how this woman was running things because we wanted really to connect more with the community. We felt like there was this huge gap of good quality work for an affordable price. And we just saw people needed down-to-earth people. They needed a special touch put back in their home. They needed exactly what our other friends said, you know, they needed their Saturdays given back to them. And we just completely fell in love with it. And just the same, it kind of grew quickly, and coming, we didn't have necessarily the business background that we should have had starting our own business. So we've sort of had to learn this all all
Okay.
backwards, right? As you go
Yeah.
along, you learn. But here we are, 15, 16 employees and busted into the commercial side now, and yeah, doing all kinds of fun stuff.
Like podcast.
Like podcasts.
Well, Judith, I've asked you this 100 times, Calgary Flames cleaning. What was up with that?
I actually was working at the Flames when they had that huge lockout, and they were talking about 2 years lockout. So because I wanted to work and I didn't want to work 3 days a week, we were just married with my husband, got our first condo. Yeah. But that was a long time ago. I really hear a common theme that corporate is getting a bad rep in this group. I also was in corporate and also wanted freedom. Funny enough, last month I worked 303 hours, so there goes my freedom. I think it's a huge responsibility. You probably all feel this, that when you are responsible for other people to put the food on the table. So, you work really, really hard getting those jobs and making sure they got hours and they, we are true to our agreements, right? But yeah, I also started in corporate. I got burnt out and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go clean toilets because I'm accountable. For me, accountability was a really big thing. Things landed on my desk that were like VP's jobs because I was an executive assistant. And I was like, yeah, this is great. I get to learn, but, why am I doing 3 people's job, And I wanted to spend more time with my husband. He's a coach on a national level. He travels to very exotic locations. I wanted to do that. I did that a couple of times. I was like, yeah, no. He's working, he's not with me, right? So, but we still, travel quite a bit. So, so that's kind of how I started. And now I am about 20 staff and $1 million company. It's crazy that I say that, but that's happened last year. And you guys all know in this business, that is pretty hard and great achievement. So I'm very proud of my team to getting us there.
That's awesome. And James, how about you?
I actually started many years ago, just as a student business, just a means to ends, to put me through school, help things out. And then when I graduated, sort of in the early 90s, it was the recession. And I sort of looked at it and realized that I'm making far more money doing the window cleaning than I was, than any job offer. And it wasn't until years later that, I used to go to window cleaning conventions. I'd have my winters off. But then I realized if I want to make it a full-time business, it just seemed to be a natural progression to go into the home cleaning. So I spent a fair bit because I had no idea how to, how to properly clean a home. But it really was ARCC, which is now the ISSA. I went out to get certified through one of the technicians course. And, I met Bruce Vance and a few of the others. And I was mesmerized by the enormous professionalism that they had that the window cleaning industry just doesn't have. And it's like you see the level of people that are doing this. I mean, I spoke to one person and he's tapping away the computer and he's looking at all the numbers and I'm asking him, so what did you do before you did this? And he says, well, I used to fly 747s. And it's like, okay, well, we don't get that in the other industry. But you realize what an enormous community it is. Yeah. And how much everybody really wants to come together and just help everyone else sort of be. And I think that's what really got me right into the home cleaning business. And yeah, now I'm 2 feet in.
Wow. So what do you find? What is the best thing about the residential cleaning sector in your eyes? Like, what do you find the best?
Well, for one, it's I built a lot of relationships with customers. I go to see each customer I do in-home estimates for everything. So you build a lot of those relationships. And when you go to a lot of these Zoom meetings, you realize that cleaning is really healthcare. And so you're providing an extremely valuable service in people's homes. You're not just going there to tidy things up to make them feel better. You're actually making their lives better.
Yeah.
By going in and removing, all that buildup.
Yeah. So yeah. You guys all represent companies in different provinces, and I guess at the end of the day, the need is the same, but are your customers' requirements different? Like, are the needs in Calgary different from the needs in New Brunswick? Judith, do you want to respond to that first?
Sure. Thank you. I really don't think that the needs are different. Every climate is different. I think what is a little bit different is maybe, every company, how we handle the customers, how we have our team, how do we do our training, and how do we set ourselves apart? Because in Calgary, the market is super saturated. It feels like that everybody and anybody picked up a mop and a bucket after the COVID, and everybody started some sort of cleaning business. So, fighting with that is really, really hard. So, how do you stay on top of mind? For me, networking is really, really big. Google Ads, we started to do some community events, like going back a little bit old school, just to be always on top of mind. So when somebody thinks of cleaning, I was like, oh, I met Judith, and that's how it happens. So cleaning itself is not different. I think it's just how you approach it as a business.
Right. Okay. How about you, Melanie and Sarah?
I think that I agree with Judith. I think that, cleaning as a whole is kind of the same everywhere you go, but it's how you set yourself apart. We're noticing now there's been a little bit more of a saturation in new cleaning companies popping up, and before it was kind of like the big Molly maids and that sort of thing, and people those places don't really have the greatest reputation. So it's more how you connect with your customers and how you build your business that way based on your reputation, which is what we've I think done a really great job at doing. But yeah, it's frustrating when you see it, because it's like, okay, people think like, oh, well, what else can we do? We're just gonna do a house cleaning because it's easy, but it's not, right? Like it's not. And you, like anything else, you have to stay on top of things and try to think outside the box and how you're gonna stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And us also being like, we're from a smaller town as well, so we're known in the town we live in, so it was it was really easy for us to go out and like build relationships, because a lot of people know us anyway,
right,
where we were born and raised here. So a lot of ours is like people talking like, oh, Melanie and Sarah have a cleaning business, and our reputation has kind of helped us that way too. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you guys, Kristy, Kelly?
Yeah, I agree with what everybody's saying. Sort of, I think cleaning is cleaning, no matter where you go in the world, right? I think the challenges definitely come from where you're cleaning from, and exactly, we live in a huge city, so challenges we have is definitely the same as probably Judith. Crazy oversaturation, and Judith is absolutely correct. The pandemic made everyone a cleaning technician and a cleaning expert, and it's more challenging for us, definitely, because we do get those calls. Well, I called so and so, and they didn't do a great job, so can you come in and clean up after them? And we're competing, like we've worked so hard to build a great reputation, but now we're competing with people that are not as passionate maybe and don't take it as seriously. So it's a little frustrating, but I think you just got to stay true to who you are and push through and I think what we all do and bring to the table you know, collectively is what sets us apart, right? So I know for sure once I get my foot in that door, you know, you're not going to go anywhere else, right? Because I know what we bring to the table is very unique and different than what, you know, another company's going to offer. And I think the biggest challenge is probably trying to get through to people that you get what you pay for, right? So that's probably a big challenge with us and the market, is just trying to convince people you need to be willing to invest in your home. And if you don't want to pay for good service, then you're not going to get great service. So
during the pandemic, were you guys shut down? Were you locked down?
are you asking us?
Yes.
Yeah, so we did get shut down in Ontario, and you had to be an essential service to stay open. So we were shut down for about a week. And exactly what Judith said, there's such pressure coming with having staff and knowing that that staff is relying on you to put food on their table and pay rent. So we quickly pivoted and we invested you know, the last of our savings into a COVID machine. We got all the Clorox 360, which is phenomenal. And we got all of our staff online to do pandemic training, and then all of a sudden, because we were all certified, we were able to become an essential business. So we were going into daycares and schools and offices and
Our clients
yeah,
essential.
we you know, we were really providing like funny enough, around the same time we took a mental health first aid course, because everybody, which we didn't even know existed, but everybody was going through such trauma and stress and everything, right? And
Wow.
you know, having a cleaning person come into your home was really bringing a sense of peace. So yeah, we pivoted, we got our foot back out there and
Educated between disinfectant and sanitary.
yeah, that was another big thing is you know, the pandemic taught us, you know, and I'm sure taught a lot of people what the difference is between cleaning and actually sanitizing and disinfecting, right? That I think we all learned a lot of stuff.
We weren't shut down for long.
Yeah, we were not shut down for long. We were not having it.
There you go. James, how about you? Like, what did you learn as a result of the pandemic?
I think everything that everyone's been saying exactly true. I have to admit that we actually didn't start the actual home cleaning until 2021, so we kind of missed that. But when it came to the window cleaning, we're mostly outside. We did shut down for the month or so leading up to it. But for us, we don't really start the business until, you know, about May-ish anyway, so it didn't really matter. But we noticed an enormous uptick in business during that year. Like we rose by 23% for that year. So for us, it worked out, you know, fairly well. And for the most part, we're outside.
Yeah.
There wasn't, and then for the office staff, you know, we could easily work remotely. So all of that was fine as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Melanie and Sarah, like, how did you change your business practices as a result of the pandemic?
Well, I mean, like the girls said, there's a difference between cleaning and disinfecting. So I think now, since we were closed for 2 months, and then New Brunswick was kind of funny because it was like things started coming back and then they shut everything down again. So we were back and forth, which was pretty stressful.
Yeah.
But now we kind of go into homes, like we do the disinfecting all the time now anyway, as if we are still in pandemic mode. So, and that's the way we train our girls. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's, I think we're more thorough now and more aware of those sorts of things. And, as well as our clients are too, right? Because COVID's not gone, it's still around. And, so we're aware of that. So.
Yeah. We're just hearing all the numbers starting to creep up there again.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So Judith, like, for same applies to you. Do you think that your company is better as a result of the pandemic?
I mean, it was really stressful. What it taught us that, you know, how resilient we are. And then also what it taught me personally is that it's, you know, before I would hear always like, you know, pick a niche, pick a niche, pick a niche. And I think we talked about this. I feel like we have. And I didn't quite pick a niche. I had both commercial and residential. And somehow my commercial side saved my residential, right? Because right off the bat, I had like 50 families, you know, cancel regular cleaning. So I went down to half the staff and we never closed. So it was, I mean, there was a lot of pivoting. I felt like a lot like, you know, the guys at Friends, you know, but that's sofa. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to have this commercial side to it because this company who literally saved us had 8 buildings, and it was actually a low-income housing funded by the government, and their management wanted to get twice a week sanitation of, you know, the common areas. So, you know, 8 buildings twice a week. So, you know, it was like I went down from 270 visits a month to 160, but wow. I still had visits, right? So yeah, so it was a very interesting time. I think it taught all of us that you know, we can do this, you know, like you can scale down. It was a great thing to wean out, you know, the D and C players, right? The team that wasn't really, you know, good for you. And yeah, so it was a good thing, hindsight, but I don't want to go through it again.
Yeah.
So, you know, we talk about rethinking what clean means. And in fact, ISSA launched a whole marketing campaign around that same theme. Like, what does rethink clean mean to you guys? Like, what have you done differently? Kelly, Kristy, since I see you right there on my screen.
Kelly, you want to take this?
We're really just staying on top of new product, new inventions, going to the convention like Chicago and seeing what's more like everyone's into the eco-friendly products, and we're just staying on top of everything, right? Catering to our clients' needs because clients are changing and their lifestyles changing, so we're just rethinking of what they need in respect of what we can provide, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that Kelly makes, is that the pandemic gave us more time to focus on the clients that we had left, whether commercial or residential. And so really focusing on their needs. And when I hear you know, the phrase rethinking clean, I think it depends on who your client is and what that means to them, right? We have a lot of people who you know, might require really much more sanitization, or they might, you know, be a family of 5 that really just requires a lot of tidying and helping organizing. And so it's I think what clean means is what the client is asking for, right? But it's also just having the knowledge under your belt, so when that they do ask for something, you're prepared, you have the tools, you know how to do it, right? So that's where a lot of these courses come so in handy for us, right? We've been able to educate our staff so much, and it's been really, really helpful.
Yeah. So Melanie and Sarah, like how you obviously have your arsenal of services that you provide your customers. Have you added anything new to that arsenal or changed the way you do things as a result of cleaning, disinfecting, sanitizing?
I mean, we originally kind of like, we built our business on the fact that, you know, we're very detail oriented to begin with. So, you know, it's been something that it's come naturally, and we pass it along to our employees. But, you know, like Kristy said, we kind of, we have a, you know, the list of things that you do that are just like, you know, for a basic clean, and then, you know, you have to tailor your, you know, your visits to every home because everybody's different. So we might have like a couple customers that, you know, the mothers are, at their wits' end, and you're helping them pick up toys and, you know, tidying up. So more of that sort of thing, which is, you know, technically we're cleaners, not, you know, not maids or home, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, you have to tailor to each individual house, I guess.
So in terms of customer bases and your business strategies, like, do you have any playbook strategies that you want to share with our audience? Like, what makes you guys successful?
Is it
You guys,
us?
you can start.
Well, I mean, we have a really cool website.
I know
And
that.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
And
caught
that,
my eye.
yeah, like, and I feel like our marketing is really on point. Like, it's just different from other places around here.
We get lots of comments about it.
We get a lot of comments about it, and the fact that we're women in business in a small town too, it helps us. But now we've just started, like how we mentioned earlier, how like things are starting to get a little saturated. We're a little behind with that. Like, I know in the bigger cities it started happening post-pandemic, but we're just starting to see that now.
Yeah.
But I find that our advertising and marketing is set apart from everybody else's. Like, a lot of them are just kind of run of the mill. But now we've also, Sarah and I have been talking about like other things we can do to try to separate ourselves. So we've
like upholstery cleaning.
Yeah, we've added in upholstery cleaning and carpet cleaning. We have a lot of move in, move out cleans because we have so many people from Ontario and Alberta moving this way. So that's a huge thing for us. We've developed relationships with a lot of realtors too. So they come to us for those things. And now
we give all the realtors like $100 voucher that they can use as many times as they want with all their clients for a move in, move out clean that they can give to their clients. And then typically a lot of those clients, once we complete the move in or move out clean, they keep us on for maintenance.
Yeah. And now we started giving like gift baskets to people with like a scrub daddy and things like that. And our staff are like leaving little candies for them and things, just little touches that make people feel, you know, good. And like, it just makes them be like, oh, these guys are, you know, I want to keep them around.
James, how about you? What makes you successful?
Well, having been in the neighborhood for as long as I have, you know, the one thing about window cleaning is that you put signs up everywhere. Every job that we do, we put a sign up, and, you know, we only work in a very specific area, and we typically are servicing anywhere between, you know, probably 600 to 700 customers in a year. So, you know, we have a lot of that going on. So, and just staying local, like we do a lot of, you know, charities and we advertise, you know, for that. So I think that you sort of get word of mouth that, you know, people like you. But I think just having built so many relationships with customers, you know, the funny thing is that customers go from one house to another. They often stay in the neighborhood. And so somebody might not use you for a period of time, but then they come back to you because you're always there. So I think just being always present in the neighborhood and keeping the borders tight. Like we don't want to leave our little area. And I find that it's a whole lot beneficial because you're always advertising in that area.
Well, they also build some more solid relationships with your customers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, definitely.
We also make alliances with other local businesses, restaurants and dry cleaners and things like that. And we have signs and sort of things, you know, there. We've got ads, you know, in sports centers, and right now we're really trying to ramp things up. So we've been doing a lot of flyer dropping. I made a deal with Canada Post, and I find that just the continual sort of name in the neighborhood helps.
Oh, good for you. Judith, I know you are a heavy proponent of social media. You LinkedIn, you have recommendations from your customers, you feature some of your technicians that work for your company. How do you apply that and make your company more known?
I think consistency, to be honest with you, like whatever you decide, whatever path you decide to go down on, just be consistent at it, right? And so we do a lot of Google ads. I spend a lot of money on Google Ads for a cleaning service. If you don't have Google Ads, you don't have a lot of success, unfortunately, because everybody is looking for services online now. So we do that, and the whole presence, online presence, everything intertwines. So your social media, so, you know, like, for example, I might not get a lot of leads on Facebook or Instagram, but it's all connected to my online presence, which Google looks at, right? And another thing is a lot of cleaning companies forget this, is get reviews, Google reviews. Build up your my Google business page, be active on it, respond. You know, a lot of cleaning companies are so afraid, literally being held hostage by a bad review, and just take it in stride. Was the customer right? Did we really fail? If we have, explain to that customer, thank you for bringing light to this. I really appreciate it. And we're taking these steps to make these changes so this doesn't happen again, right? So if you have that mentality, it's okay to get a 1-star review. It's not okay, but it will happen, you know. And then if they're haters, simply just respond, I went through my customer database. I don't see you as a customer. Can you please let me know when we did business with you, right? and you know, like, it's this presence online is super, super important, and you have to work at it every day.
Wow. Kelly, Kristy, you know, I had a really good conversation with you guys at our show in Toronto in June, and you actually mentioned to me about the services that you provide, like simple things. Well, maybe not simple to everybody, because I'm that person, but cleaning the baseboards in people's homes, and for some residential cleaning companies, that's considered an add-on service, but to you, that's normalcy. Do you want to address that and the services, in terms of the services that you guys provide that go above and beyond?
So yeah, so when we talked about seeing a gap in the market, that was kind of one of the things. Was we kept hearing over and over again that people weren't happy with their cleaners, right? Well, why are you not happy with your cleaners? And it was they felt like they couldn't give any feedback without, you know, getting a sort of a bad reaction, and then B, that the more detailed stuff wasn't happening. It was surface cleaning. So when Kelly and I started, we thought we always start off with a deep clean, and that's, you know, right down to the nuts and bolts. But then we thought, we work in teams of 2 or 3 all the time, and this allows us to maintain that deep clean. So this allows us to be in a home. We describe ourselves as a high-end express cleaning. So high-end in the sense that we clean things that other cleaning companies in our area typically don't. So we move furniture, we get under the beds, under the couch cushions, do the door frame, the baseboards, all of that stuff, right? And we're able to do that because we also describe ourselves as an express cleaning, meaning because there's 2 or 3 of us, we're not underfoot for 6-7 hours a day, right? We're in and out of your house in usually an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on how big your home is or what has to be done. And so that's really something that has separated us quite a bit from our competition.
How about you guys, Sarah, Melanie?
Pretty much the same thing. We do the extra details and we go above and beyond. And same as baseboards, that's part of our regular routine. So yeah, I think all those little things that we touch on that a lot of other cleaning businesses don't, help us and help grow our company, because people talk around here and everybody knows everybody. So, you know, it helps a lot.
And I think at the end of the day, like when you have, you know, if you're welcoming somebody in your home, like people don't want to go through 5 and 6 different, you know, cleaning companies. They want you to be good, and they want you to be the people that, you know, stay and do their job, you know, stay, you know, it's not comfortable for everybody having people come in their home. So yeah, like you definitely have to stay ahead of that curve.
Step it up. Yeah.
Now, do you guys notice with the influx of residents from out of province, like you mentioned, Ontario and Alberta, anywhere else? I know people I know are moving out east. Do you notice a rise in the level of competition? I know you're in a
Yeah.
smaller town, but you
Yes.
must see that.
Oh,
All of a sudden,
we
it's
were
just been
yeah.
lately, it's been crazy.
the last probably 2 months. We've literally on Facebook, even just last night.
I'm like, what is this?
What is this new person? So yeah, there is. So we actually we're getting together with our staff, like we've been brainstorming and stuff, and we're getting together with our staff to kind of think about other things we can do to keep us up here, you know, with all these people coming in. But I mean, it hasn't slowed down our business at all.
No.
Since the pandemic, we've increased 30%.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's been crazy. Yeah.
So now, in terms of education, like how do you guys stay top of mind in current trends? Like how do you stay on top of the education piece to keep yourself on the mainstream as well as your employees and your staff? I'll start with you guys. Melanie.
Yeah, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I do like our marketing and our social media and all that kind of stuff. So we are in groups, just like constantly looking. Like we also do like organization, professional organizing. So we're in different groups, and we're always kind of trying to pick other groups, like people in the groups, like pick their brains. Just like, you know, looking at like Amazon gadgets, like any tools that we could use that would actually be helpful, a helpful resource to our, you know, to our staff.
Yeah, that's okay. We're in a lot of Facebook groups. Like there's this one that we're in, it's called Cleaning Business Owners, and it's cleaning companies throughout Canada and the US.
Right.
And everybody, there's a chat and everybody goes online, and it's just nice to pick other people's brains to try to see what they're doing in different areas. So yeah, we do a lot of that, a lot of Googling, a lot of joining things like ISSA, you know, we're new members. Because we're in growth mode right now.
Yeah.
Now that we have the staffing in place. So yeah, we're just trying to learn new things ourselves and then pass it on to our employees that way. So
that's awesome. Judith, how about you?
I actually belong to Cleaning Business Fundamentals, and it's run by Debbie Sardone, who's also an ISSA member, and she has created this fantastic community. I was just saying to Tanya when we got online that they have created this cohort, and I have my cohort, and I'm the only Canadian, and it's just so much value because the Americans are so different and they do everything so different. There's so much to learn there.
Yeah.
And we meet with this cohort every week. We Zoom and we have a chat, and like that's a key. Another thing that I can highly recommend, we've been accepted into the Alberta government with the Mount Royal University here in Calgary. They've got a growth catalyst program. And there's lots of different ones. I've been in with ATB X that's done by a bank and whatnot, but the Canadian government right now is really high on educating entrepreneurs and business owners, small business owners. So this program is like a $30,000 program that we were accepted, and we only have to pay $5,000. What I really like about it is I can take my team, because, you know, I have an office admin, I have a supervisor, and then I also have a lead trainer. So the four of us, we go to this once a month, and there's like coaching with it and everything. So I really recommend for anybody who's listening to this to reach out and do a little bit of search in their own province, just to see what the government offers, because there's so many programs, not only governments, like the Bank of Development of Canada, some of your local banks, or, you know, whatever, because they want your business. So they might give you something for free that is fantastic. And then maybe you do business with them, right?
So Kelly and Kristy, how do you guys stay top of mind and ahead of your competition?
Oh gosh. I don't know. We keep trying to figure it out every day. You know, up until now, we've only ever relied on word of mouth. It's definitely Google reviews. We're always pushing for that. Kelly and I are, even though we're in a big city, we kind of run things like a small town. We're out in the field every day with our staff in some degree. And so people in the neighborhood get to know us. They see our faces. We've built a reputation. And yeah, word of mouth is big. Social media, putting stuff out there constantly. Giveaways. We also just do a lot of community work as well to keep, it's we want to, that's the kind of business we run, but it also keeps our name out there, right? So sponsoring kids sports teams and doing senior drives and food drives. And then this year we're hosting our first community Christmas dinner for our neighbors and people who shouldn't be alone on Christmas. So we do a lot of charity work as well to keep our names out there and relevant and give back to our community. But yeah, we're always looking for different ways to stay on top of things, right? Just recently it was brought to our attention that LinkedIn is great to connect for more commercial stuff, and being a member of ISSA is huge. So it's just networking, doing things like this, and exactly what everybody else has said, listening to other people and picking their brains and how did this work for you, and what do you do differently here? And Judith is absolutely right. The States does things so different. When we were in Chicago, we were just blown away at how different they do it. So listening to them and kind of saying, hey, that might work, or whoa, okay, let's never go down there. That's really helpful too. And honestly, I love talking to other local cleaning companies too, right? Like, I don't think we consider people competition, right? I think there's enough work out there for everybody. And I love seeing empowered women, especially out there and hustling in our communities. So I love talking to them. Kelly loves talking to them. Hey, what's working for you? And hey, this is what's worked for us. And we've actually mentored some other people as well. Like I feel like we're still figuring it out day by day, but new people coming into the field have reached out to us numerous times and said, hey, what would you do in this situation? So taking that time to help, because I wish we had more help when we were first starting out, right? I wish more people were willing to answer questions of ours. So communication, listening openly, and taking critiques and criticisms. And that's probably another huge thing is we tell our clients, like, we love open communication. Don't ever be afraid to give us feedback. It's how we learn and how we grow, right? It sounds corny, but our job is to make them happy. So whatever that means, give us the feedback, and then we're able to educate our staff better, and we're able to move forward and do differently with future clients, right? So it helps us grow as well.
Excellent. James, how about you?
I find that the ISSA, it's forums just like this that really help you keep abreast of everything. Going to the conventions and talking to suppliers, talking to the manufacturers, and then just talking to other business owners. I mean, I find that there's the ISSA really has an enormous wealth of information and courses and everything else, and because it brings together all these incredible professionals from all over the cleaning industry, you learn from experts, what their actual products do, what their purpose is, how they're to be used, and then just taking the certification courses with the ISSA. It helps you out enormously, because you really do have an enormous depth of expertise. I too am a member of the CBF, Debbie Sardone's thing, and I've been to her retreat. I've been to CBF Live. I'm part of the whole group, and so I have to admit I don't reach out enough, and I should be, because they're a whole group of people just like us, and she has an incredible coaching business, and there's a lot of her coaches are a part of the ISSA as well, and it's talking to other business owners who are going through the exact same things. I really like this whole cleaning industry is such a family. It's such a close-knit family, it seems. And everybody's just so willing to share. I mean, just this forum itself. I mean, it's so willing to share open ideas of how, you know, you never really feel you're in competition with anybody. Just like Kristy was saying, I've helped mentor, window cleaners and seen them as competitors in the neighborhood. And I never really thought them as competitors. They run their business, I run my business. There's enough room for all of us. The home cleaning industry just seems so much more so. So I think
that's awesome. No, thank you. Well, in the interest of time, let's parting shots. Kristy, Kelly, any advice that you would like to share with our audience today?
Wow. No pressure.
Yeah, no,
I know.
none at all.
I don't know. I like I said, we still feel like we're constantly learning ourselves, right? So I would think for me, my advice to anybody out there is exactly what we've already talked about. Just ask tons of questions, join anything you can.
Keep pushing through.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? Perseverance and pivoting, right? COVID, I think if it taught us anything is definitely how to persevere, right? And you're going to have highs and you're going to have lows and you're going to get clients and lose clients, and it's just par for the course. So having perseverance for sure and just pushing through and staying true to yourself is probably just huge. Keep your eye on the prize, right?
Know your worth.
Definitely, and know
Absolutely.
your worth. Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing is I wish somebody would have taught us in the beginning. In the beginning, you take any job because it's any job and it's got to pay. But the sooner you know your self-worth and the sooner you know what your business is worth, the sooner you can feel very confident in pricing and okay to walk away if you're not the right fit or if they're not willing to pay for your worth, right? You don't need to take crappy jobs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you shouldn't be nickeling and diming. There's always another client out there.
How about you, Sarah, Melanie?
I mean exactly what Kristy said. I agree with everything. It's just, I don't even think there's much more that I could say than that.
No, like for us right now, our business is actually, I'm so happy about this forum because we've learned a lot today, and our business we're going to the next level now that we have the staffing, because staffing was a huge issue for us for a while.
Oh my God.
So
right?
oh my gosh.
Yeah, to find
We could talk
staff.
just about staffing, right?
Oh my God, like don't even get us started with staffing, because like honestly, and we have like, we've stayed very, we've been doing a lot of the cleaning ourselves, and we try to stay, what's the word I'm looking for?
Involved,
very involved with our staff. But yeah, that's a tough one.
And any a little bit of advice is like just on how you treat your employees, go above and beyond and do the little extra things for them just to make them feel valued. Because it's so hard to find, drop them off a treat or a coffee or little things and let them know, like, people hear the bad so much. It's nice to let them know when there's good as well.
Absolutely.
Because that's the key to keeping your employees, right?
Pay your staff fairly, right? Pay your staff fairly. Give them.
We've had to increase. We've had to increase our employee wages quite a bit.
We have.
But they work hard, so they deserve it, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Judith, how about you?
Ladies, you preaching to the choir here. Absolutely agree with everything you say. If I can give a little bit of advice to anybody who's kind of new to this business, is not to take it personal. Be courageous, put yourself out there. And what I mean by that, to be more specific, is if a client has bad feedback, don't take it personally. Don't take it home with you, for sure. Deal with it right away and just do better. Like, I actually enjoy my high maintenance customers, because that's where you learn the most. That's when you learn the most about your business. And another thing is, you guys brought up the employee piece. Try to be the very best boss you can, because people do not leave a job, they leave a bad boss. So if you are you know, if you are not open, if you're not listening to them, and listening means that if they bring up a concern, then you, just like with your customers, you deal with it right away, because let's be honest, your first customer is your team. Nobody else is going to bring you in like $50,000-$60,000 a year, but your team member, right? So I think it's super important to treat them like humans, like you would want to be treated, right? Are there going to be friction? Absolutely. How do you deal with that? Is you have a conversation, and then you see how they react to it. Did they react positively? Did they improve? Or did they get like really defensive and whatnot? Defensive, it's not your employee. I'm sorry. Not in cleaning, because cleaning is very, very personal to every customer.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
James, how about you?
I agree with everything everyone has said. I mean, that's a wealth of information. I would say if you can, I would strongly recommend trying to attend the the ISSA annual convention. It's in Vegas this year. It's their 100th anniversary. And you see everybody in person, and you see all the suppliers, but you see all the business owners. There's a whole pavilion just for residential cleaners. And it's a week of classes, of training, but it's also just it's the networks that you meet. It's the conversations that you have with people, just like this, for 3, 4, 5 days, whatever. And it's in Vegas. I mean,
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, as a closing thoughts, because we are running out of time, unfortunately. I mean, I could carry on this conversation all day, but there is a level of camaraderie that certainly exists among residential cleaners, especially. And yes, you are also very forthcoming with the information that you share for everybody. And I really do appreciate your time here today and sharing your thoughts and your business secrets, which is always helpful. So thank you for that. And in closing, thank you. And I hope you all have a great day, and we hope to see you in Vegas. And if not, maybe next month for November 29th for the next coffee talk. Thank you very much, everybody.